Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. Today we are going to take a look at a pretty new kick-ass survival knife. This is from Utica and it's the UTK-B6. Now, one of the great things about this knife is that it is made right here in America, up in Utica, New York. And you know, there are fewer and fewer knife companies that are actually making products in America and giving jobs to Americans. And so I'm very, excited to take a look at this and, give you guys an opinion on how it does. With that, let's go ahead and move up to the bench and you guys can get a little bit closer look at this. And we'll just kind of go over the specs and stuff like that. And then later on, we'll go more into the field demonstration, kind of showing it, doing a little bit of split wood, doing some feather sticks, doing some shavings, cutting rope, cutting 550 cord, just kind of, seeing how it does and feeling, how it does. And at the end, I'll kind of give you my overall opinions. But I think it's going to work out pretty well. Pretty sweet looking knife. So stick with me and we'll get started. Okay guys, so here is a look at the UTK-B6, which has a 7-inch blade. It's 12.8 inches overall length, and it's sitting next to its little brother here, the UTK-S4. Now, you guys may remember seeing this in a battle box video not too long ago. Pretty sweet little knife, and it's very, reminiscent of the SE4, just in appearance and that kind of thing. And, the UTK-B6 is going to fill my 3-knife system perfectly with that 7-inch blade. As you guys know, I like to have my largest knife be a blade that has at least 7 inches on it, and this one fits that bill perfectly. Anyway, this is not a review of the smaller knife, so we're going to get it out of the way. I just thought I'd show you real quick. The UTK-B6 is, and both of the knives are made of 1095 high carbon steel. They have a black powder coat finish on them, and as you can see, we've got some very nice jimping, right back here. We also have some underneath here, and it's not too aggressive, but it actually feels pretty good in the hand. The knife is about 3/16 thick, full tang. We've got black micarta scales, and I believe that this is stainless steel hardware, attachment hardware, and then we've got a textured micarta for the bolsters right here. And that's actually pretty cool because it kind of gives you a really good purchase right there, right up front. We do also have a finger choil here. And the grind on this knife is a full hollow grind. Now, as you guys know, I like a full hollow grind knife. I think it's a very good grind for, many purposes, and it's not as heavy duty as some other knives, but it gives you a lot more control and a lot more finesse, which I think is important when you're dealing with a bigger knife like this. It still has plenty of strength to do, a lot of tasks. We've got a pommel on the end here that could be used for breaking glass or crushing or, little things like that. And on the front, this is one of the things to the blade that I don't particularly care for. Some people might like it, but it kind of has a little bit of a false edge. And I think the knife would be improved if they would just leave that off altogether. And just let the full natural grind come all the way up. But it doesn't narrow down so much that it is actually going to be a big hindrance. It's really just kind of a profile change. I think it's really just put on there as a design feature to make the knife look a little sharper. And it does with the appearance, but for using it in a survival situation, I'd like to see that, extend the full profile, extend all the way out to the end so that it would be better at split wood fires. This is still probably going to do fine, but we'll find out here shortly. Anyway, other than that, I think the knife is just a gorgeous knife, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be very, very functional. Now let's take a look at the sheath real quick. Sheath is a oh, I think they call it a thermal molded friction fit. You know, thermal molded plastic. It's kind of a friction fit. It's not quite Kydex. It seems to be a little tougher and thicker than Kydex. It does have a nice carbide sharpener built into it. It also has a ferro rod built into it as well. Now, one thing I will say with the ferro rod is that the fit for this one, coming right out of the factory, was really, really tight. And for the other one, the smaller 4-inch knife I had, I didn't have any issues with it. But with this one, the O-ring, as you can see here, ended up tearing off. Not a big deal, but kind of a quality control issue. And I think it's probably, you know, just a one-time kind of occurrence or whatever. The other thing is this will actually, this is the striker for it, and so you can, you know, use that to strike the ferro rod. You could also use the knife, you know, edge or whatever as well. As you guys know, I don't recommend using the back side of a knife for emergency survival situations, but you've got the striker there, so that's all you really need. As far as how it clicks in, you get a good positive click either way. You're not going to have any worries about it falling out or anything like that. Now, as far as the clip goes, you've got a steel spring clip. Comes out of the box with a setup for a horizontal style, or at least mine did. I changed it for a vertical style. And it's really easy. Just swap out the screws and you're good to go. Of course, you've also got the Paracord Leg Loop, and you've got multiple holes for being able to fasten it to a pack or a different kind of, you know, LBE vest or whatever the case may be. So all in all, I think this is a pretty sweet knife, and now it's time to go out and do a little bit of field testing. All right, guys, so my kids got a go-kart over here they're riding. You may hear them in the background a little bit, but hopefully it won't mess it up too much. So I've just got some 550 cord here, and we're just gonna see how well this thing does at cutting the cord on it. This is the edge that came right out of the box. The only thing I've done is I've ran it a couple of times through the carbide sharpener on the sheath just to make sure that it's actually at the same bevel, and it is. So that's a good thing, and it's actually some manufacturers don't necessarily do that. So anyway, as you can see, it cuts 550 cord really well here. It's definitely quite sharp. You can get through 2 levels there, 2 layers. We'll go through 4. So, nice clean cut, you know, it's doing a great job there. All right, so let's try something a little thicker. All right, so let's go ahead and cut some of this stuff here. Seems to cut that no problem as well. This is that thick stuff you get at like Harbor Freight or whatever, kind of like utility rope. Get that right. There we go, doing good. Make some nice feather sticks. This is just an old cedar board here. You take big thick chunks like this. Or you can get some nice fine ones as well. Pretty cool. Alright, so here I've just got a big old 2x4, and it's got a pretty big knot in it here, so I'm just going to drive down through that, see how it does splitting this thing up, and then we'll try to find some other stuff around here to split up as well. Might have to find a bigger club. There we go. I had another knot down in there too. That's the thing I like about a 7-inch blade is, you know, it gives you just plenty left over out here to be able to bang on when you're doing split wood fires. You get too short of a blade and you don't have enough room left to really be able to effectively get a good hit. So it's breaking this stuff down fine. I mean, this is just pine, it's not that difficult. So let's see if we can find something that is a little more difficult. And looks like the finish is holding up all right. It's got some scratches on it, but not doing too bad at all. Find something a little tougher. Okay, I've got a few more pieces of wood here. I think will be a little bit more of a challenge. I think this is an old piece of elm or maybe cottonwood, I'm not sure. And that might be not sycamore, but aspen. I think this is probably a big old chunk of aspen. And then I think this is probably a chunk of elm as well. It's pretty solid and pretty dense. So we're just going to give this a shot, you know, hitting through these and seeing how it does here on these. No problem there. Yeah, I think that's definitely elm. Likes to stick together, but it is seasoned. All right. So, doing good with that. Let's go ahead and try this other piece here. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure on what this one is. Definitely a little lighter, not quite as dense. All right, seems to be doing good on that. Now let's see if I can beat down through this piece. Oh yeah. No problem with that as well. Alright, let's see if it'll do some more shavings. So it's holding an edge pretty good. And it looks like it does okay. Heartwood scrapings as well.
getting blown off as I make them, but it's doing it. Alright, I kind of wanted to take a look and see how well it did at some twist splitting and stuff like that as well. And the blade, you know, the tip is a little thinner. Oh, I grabbed a bad piece. I got a knot in the end of this one. There we go. Get rid of that knot. I generally don't recommend chopping unless you're just doing something real minor, kind of like I was just doing there. I don't really think it's a appropriate use of a knife personally. This knife is a little lighter on the end, so it's probably not going to be a great chopper if that's something that you're looking for. But again, I think batoning is a way smarter and safer way to cut through something if you needed to. Alright, so it seems to be doing pretty good at that. Making some good kindling. Looking good there. Okay, now I wonder how it'll do it boring holes and that kind of stuff. Seems to do pretty good at notches and things. I'm liking it so far. Okay guys, so that has been a look at the Utica UTK-B6. And just a real quick overview on the specs again. It's 1095 high carbon steel. You've got black micarta handles with stainless steel fasteners holding the scales on. You've got some jimping right here, as well as a finger choil, and some nice jimping down at the bottom there as well. You do have a little bit of a false edge, you know, cut into the top side here, which I'm personally not the biggest fan of, but it seemed to perform really well. You know, I didn't have any issues with it. The tip still seems to be nice and strong. You know, beating down through some hardwoods and some elm and, you know, some harder stuff like that. Seemed to take the abuse just fine. Now, this is probably not the heaviest duty knife in the world because it is a hollow ground knife, and because of the false edge on the back here, the front end is a little lighter. But the benefit to that is that you really feel like you have a very good balance and very good control on this knife for more of the finesse stuff. You know, cutting the shavings and scrapings and different things like that. And you know, I really like the feel of this, and I'm probably going to go ahead and put this in my bug out bag. I keep my Ontario Rat 7 on some of my war belt and different things like that, but this is probably going to be just every bit as good as that knife is. So I really like it. I like the way it feels in the hand. You get a good purchase on everything, and just don't really have any complaints. Now, again, just kind of show you a little bit more on the sheath. Sheath is a steel spring clip, and you can also rig it up to strap it to your, you know, backpack or anything else that you want, you know, however you want to do that. And you've got the little ferrule rod and everything in here as well. So pretty cool, and as well as the carbide sharpener there, right there at the end too. Overall, I give this thing probably a 9 out of 10 rating. I think the only things they could do to improve it are the couple of things that I mentioned. But overall, I think this is a very solid knife, and at around $100. I'm not sure exactly what it is. You guys can check the website. The website is at cutmaster.com, and then you can click on their different product lines, go to Utica, and then to the Survival Series. And that's where, you know, it'll give you all the details on price and everything like that. I couldn't find this listed on Amazon right now, but if I find it listed on Amazon later, I will go ahead and throw an Amazon link to this down in the description below. But anyway, guys, I think both of these knives from Utica are sweet knives that would make a great addition. And like I said, they're made here in America and just really nice knives. So I don't have a lot of bad to say about them at all. But anyway, check out their website and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below of the Utica. Alright guys, stay safe, and as always, I definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and don't forget to live the 6 P's. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys.